Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here today. We're excited to present our final project titled Exploring Eating Habits, Influence, Behaviors, and Perception. I'm Geraldine Garcia, and I'll be discussing the objective of our study, and I also played the role in developing the survey for our research, especially I was the one who gathered the questions that help us gather our data. So this study was designed to explore how different factors such as emotional, social, environmental, and personal demographic influence the way people make food choices and develop eating behaviors. So we wanted to dig deeper in the psychologically pattern behind everyday eating habits. So the main goal of the project was to understand what really drives this behavior, especially emotional and social influences. So aim to answer the questions like, do people tend to eat more when they are feeling stressed, anxious, or bored? Is food often used as a reward or as a coping mechanism for emotional situation? And lastly, and how do we factor like age, gender, or lifestyle affect a person's food preference and eating routine?
Hi guys, my name is Louis, and I'm here to discuss the data collection part. Also, my part for the survey is I am the one in charge in managing and creating the Google Forms. So, to gather data, we created a structured survey using Likert scale questions. Respondents were asked to rate statements such as I eat when I am feeling down and I use food as a reward for completing tasks. They could choose from 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 numbers. 1 corresponding to strongly disagree, 2 disagree, 3 neutral, 4 agree, and 5 strongly agree. We also collected basic demographic data such as age to help analyze patterns across different groups.
So before I start, I'm going to introduce myself. I'm Raymer C. Mahadas and I'll be discussing to you the interpretation of the data. Also, I'm the one who created the survey and I'm the one who also facilitate the interpretation of the data and the data that we accumulated. And for the age breakdown of participants, the majority of the ages that the data concluded fell within the insert dominant age group within 18 to 24 in the category. So we included both frequency, so it tackles on how many participants, and percentage, so it tackles values to better understand our sample group. So once we had our responses, we used several statistical tools to interpret the data. The first one is the mean. This is the average rating across for all participants. And for the median, it is the middle number when all ratings are ordered. And for the mode, the number that appeared most frequently. And for the standard deviation, this tells us how spread out or consistent the responses were. So basically, here's how we calculated the mean. Mean is equal to sum of all the data divided by the total data. So for example, if three people selected agree, it is equal to value of 4. Then that contributes 12 to the total score. We do this for all responses and then divide by the number of participants. So for sample statement analysis, for example, I use food as a reward for completing tasks or goals. So based on the response, the mean was around 2.9. The median and mode were both 3. So this suggests that on average participants were neutral or slightly in agreement with the statement, indicating that many people sometimes use food as a motivational tool. So to make the data easier to understand, we created also a bar graph for each statement. So So here the first one of the graph. So it is the demographics. So for the age of 16, the frequency is 1 and the percentage is 1.92%. So for the age of 17, the frequency is 1 and it's also 1.92%. So in the age of 18, it's added two responses. So basically total of 3. Then it is the percentage of 5.77%. Then for the 19, the average frequency is 22 and the percentage of it is 42.31%. And for the age of 20, the frequency of it is 25 and the total percentage of it is 48.08%. So here's the pie chart that we gathered. Basically, it shows how the data interpreted based on the percentage of the age. So before I start, we have total of 5 categories under the questions. So basically, we use the we use the question that matter the most. So based on the research or based on the survey that we accumulated, it is the first one or the questions that matter the most. So under the emotional and social influence, they use food as a reward for completing tasks or achievements. So for strongly disagree, the frequency of it is 3. For the disagree, the frequency of it is 5. For the neutral, the frequency of it is 20. And for the agree, the frequency of it is 6. And for the strongly agree, the frequency of it is 1. So basically, the standard deviation based on how we calculated it is 0.89. The mean is 2.91, the median is 3, and the mode is 3. So under of it, we use a bar graph to interpret the data. So it unders the for the strongly disagree, it unders 3. For the disagree, it unders 5. For the neutral, the participant is 20. For the agree, the participant is 5. And for the strongly agree, the participant is 1. So under the eating behaviors, the question that matter the most is I eat based on emotional triggers such as stress or boredom. So under the 5 categories, the first one that matter the most is neutral, which is the total respondent is 20. And for the disagree, the total respondent is 5. For the strongly disagree, the total respondent is 3. For the agree, the total respondent is 6. And for the strongly agree, the total respondent is 1. So the frequency for the strongly disagree is 2. For disagree is 5. For neutral is 13. For agree is 13 also. And for the strongly agree is 2. So we transfer the frequency to percentage. Then afterwards, we gather some calculation to calculate the standard deviation. So the total for it is 0.97. For mean is 3.23. For median is 3. And for mode is 3 also. So under mindful eating practices, the questions that matter the most is I pause before eating to reflect on whether I'm truly hungry. So the response that matter the most is neutral because 20 participants is selected it. For the disagree, there's only 5. For the strongly disagree, there's only 3. For agree, there's only 6. And for strongly agree, there's only 1. So to transfer the data, we use frequency and percentage. So for strongly disagree, the frequency of it is 2. For disagree is 8. For neutral is 21. For agree is 3. For strongly agree is 1. So we transfer the frequency to percentage. So the 2 becomes 5.71%. The 8 becomes 22.86%. The 21 becomes 60%. The 3 becomes 8.57%. And 1 becomes 2.86%. So based from the frequency percentage, we can calculate the standard deviation. So the total for the standard deviation is 0.80. So based on that, we can calculate the mean. So the total mean is 2.80. For the median is 3 and for the mod is 3 also. So, under ethical considerations, the question that matter the most is I try to reduce food waste by properly managing portions and leftovers. So, the response that matter the most is neutral because it accumulated 20 responses. For disagree, it accumulated 5. For the strongly disagree, it accumulated 3. For agree, it accumulated 6. And for strongly agree, it accumulated 1. So, based on that, we can calculate the frequency. So, for strongly disagree, the calculation of frequency is 1. For disagree, 10. For neutral, 12. For agree is 12. And for strongly agree is 0. So, to calculate the percentage, we can transfer the frequency to percentage. So, 2.86% per 1, 28.57 for 10, 34.29% for 12. So, 34.29% per 12 also, 0% per 0% also. So, by that, we can calculate the standard deviation. So, the total standard deviation is 0.87. The mean is 3, the median is 3, and the mode is 3 also.
Hello, I'm Matthew Pili, and today I'll be discussing the summary of findings from our survey. I was also the one responsible for analyzing and interpreting the data in Excel. So I had the opportunity to closely examine the responses and draw insights from the numbers we collected. So now, in summary, based on the overall data we accumulated, we discovered that emotional and social context play a major role in shaping people's eating habits, like uh, like the how we feeling, like stress, boredom, and guilt, as well as social institutions like eating with friends or during gatherings, influence the way individuals consume or choose and respond to food. One of the key things we noticed that was that responses were fairly consistent across most items. Many participants selected neutral responses, but there was also a noticeable lean toward slight agreement, especially when it came to statements involving emotional triggers. For example, a good number of respondents said they sometimes use food as a reward after completing tasks, or that their eating patterns change when dining with others compared to eating alone. This tells us that even though not everyone is fully aware of it, emotions and social settings do influence their eating decision. Now, by using Excel to calculate the mean, median, mode, and standard deviation, and by also visualizing the data through charts and graphs, we were able to interpret the results more clearly. These statistical tools gave us better understanding of how people psychologically relate to food. They allow us to move beyond just guessing or assuming our numbers, showed patterns in real life behavior, such as the emotional eating, social pressure, or the tendency to feel guilt after eating in response to certain feelings or situations. Now, this project, this project helped us apply what we've learned about statistics to real life behavior, and that was very valuable experience for all of us. And it's one thing to study numbers in class, but it's also something else entirely to use those tools to understand actual human habits. Understanding these emotional and social influences can also benefit such as the professionals, the nutritionists, or the educators. These experts can use insights like ours to design more effective wellness and mental health programs, especially those focused on healthier eating and behavior change. Now for me on a personal level, this research also helped us become more self-aware. I started to ask myself, am I eating because I'm hungry or because I'm bored? Sometimes I do that, and also I ask myself, do I change what I eat when I'm with other people. These reflections allowed us to look at our own habits more critically. So overall, this project or survey didn't just help us collect data and run statistics. It helped us understand the deeper connection between food, emotion, and social behavior. And that insight, I believe, is something we can carry with us beyond this survey or this research.